Tonight, we give our honest thoughts on the proposed move by John Fisher and Dave Kaval to send the Oakland Athletics to Las Vegas. As all of us here on the Nation Sports Show, MLB players and Oakland Athletics fans are totally against Fisher and Kaval's corrupt moves. Keep the A's in California. Also tonight on the sports show, we break down the latest news in the NBA as 1 week after the NBA Finals concluded, the off-season is already getting underway. As this past weekend, a shocking blockbuster trade occurred. Tonight, we break down that story and so much more. It's showtime.
From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go, guys. You wanted the best, you got the best. And no, I'm not talking about the band Kiss or Busted Open Radio because we're actually worse than that. No, I'm kidding. We are here, we are live, and it is time once again for the best sports program on YouTube outside of Urinating Tree, of course. Shout out to him. And that is our Nation Sports Show. We are live, of course, and we are here and ready to rock and roll with you all. I am Ezra, of course, and man, we got a action-packed show for you tonight, as we always do. We're going to talk about the Oakland A's move. We're going to talk about the NBA offseason. We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs and a whole bunch more. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But first, the ways you can interact with us and follow us on, of course, all over the internet. And that is Owen_Sports Show on Twitter, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to like our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe, youtube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Follow us there. Don't forget also to follow my crew at Too Sweet Cosplay. We got some stuff going on we're working on, hopefully for late August and around All Out. We'll let you know. Also, don't forget to like, of course, the Nation's Corner at Nation's Corner across all socials. And they had a great show last week talking about the world of professional wrestling. And of course, that was the lead up to AEW Collision on Saturday night, which I was at. And of course, what a great show that was. And great atmosphere, of course, in the Windy City, back at the UC. And of course, I'll be back Wednesday representing both Nations Corner and TSC at when I'm at the at the Wintrust Arena tomorrow for Dynamite and a taping of Rampage as well, which is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to be back there once again. First time there since 2020 at Revolution. But you can follow Nation's Corner. Of course, their show's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, same time as us, but on Saturdays. And of course, the usual crew of Front Row, Deb Housen, Tony Justice, Mongrovian Mike, and of course our rotating others, including John South Jersey, R.A. Davis, Big Stevie here, and many, many others. Of course, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, all in the world of pro wrestling on there. But enough of the shtick, enough of the self-deprecating cheap plugs. We got a lot to talk about here. Let's get right into it and let's introduce our crew for tonight. Chilling in his home in North Carolina, but his heart is in the Bay Area. His heart is in San Fran, baby. And that is our Niner guy here, Mr. KR, Kevin Rory. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I'm glad to finally be back after a little hiatus, but yep, back on the show this week and ready to talk some sports. So let's go.
Speaking of back on the show, this man made an announcement that on a more full-time basis, he is back, ready to rock and roll with us every week as he always does. And that is, of course, the number one Atlanta Braves and Roll Tide fan of this show, and pretty much the only one of those fans. And that is our buddy, Joey JT Thornton. What's up, man?
Okay, first off, screw you for that comment. But what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday night. If you guys are in the Carolinas, I hope you guys are staying dry. But in case you're not, but just in case if you're not in the Carolinas and it's still raining, I still hope you're staying dry. But yeah, like Kevin said, we got a lot of sports to talk about. So let's get on with the show. Let's do this.
Absolutely. And of course, finally, the patriarch of this show, my heavy metal brother from North Carolina. And of course, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. With me and him, we are the top guys of heavy metal, in a sense, if you will, when it comes to that discussion. The one, the only, Big Stevie Wyand. What's up, my brother?
What is going on, everybody out there in YouTube land and sports land and everybody across the world? We are live right now and so excited to talk about all of the things that's happening in the NBA and NHL and, of course, the stuff with the Athletics and, the proposed move to Vegas and all of that stuff. So with that being said, let's do this.
Absolutely, man. Let's get right into it and let's talk about let's get right into the big news. And one of the biggest news is that another championship celebration has come and gone.
Yeah,
And
but first, I think we have another special guest joining us, making another return. It's the one, the only Toothless Stone Cold. What's up, Toothless?
Oh God, that's great. Well, I'm glad to be here, you stupid dumb bitch. I was gonna come on later during this stupid segment, but now you call me up here. I had to break into your house and stung your ass and throw you in the beer. What? Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much more he's in this show today, but that was just for a quick little laugh, of course. But we got a championship celebration to talk about, and that is, of course, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have done it for the first time ever in their very short tenure as a hockey team. They are now Stanley Cup champions, defeating the Florida Panthers 9-3 in that final game. An absolute decimation. Florida Panthers.
They showed no mercy in that game.
They showed absolutely no mercy. Up 7-1, hit an empty netter. They were able to bounce back with 2 more goals. Did Florida, but it was too much, too late, and they put in 1 more to seal the deal. And in first expansion team in the history of the NHL to win a Stanley Cup. So congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights, first championship for the team ever and for the city. And I will say this much. I had some doubts about Vegas, being a quote unquote town for any sort of sport, but they have taken to hockey like a fish taking the water. I can attest from people who are in Vegas. I can attest from people we listen to all the time, including Eddie Trunk, who was on Trunk Nation on Sirius XM, who has a second home in Vegas. He saw cars all around the city with Golden Knights stickers, Golden Knights license plate covers, Golden Knights everything. They were beyond excited to go far into this and even make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And now they have a championship they can hold in their city finally. Can't say the same thing about the Raiders, but I digress. But with that being said, man, it's great for the city, great for the team overall. Just overall an awesome celebration for that team and how hard they worked and what they did to get there. And by absolutely smashing the Florida Panthers, making Florida Panthers into the Florida Kitty Cats at this point. They went in the same level as Carolina Panthers territory in this series. But I digress. What are your guys' thoughts on the Stanley Cup playoffs and the win by the Vegas Golden Knights?
Just a absolute monster victory, a statement victory at home by the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 5. I mean, just a complete decimation of the Panthers. And hats off to Florida. They had a hell of a run being an 8 seed. And obviously their greatest accomplishment was beating that great Boston Bruin team, that the Bruins had all those records, most points scored and records and all this type of stuff and win percentages and points and all of this stuff meant absolutely nothing because the Florida Panthers stood a 3-1 deficit in the eye and they came back and won Game 7 on the road. And not only that, but they won Game 5, obviously, on the road as well. And just Vegas was just too much for them. This series could have gone either way at times because that's how hockey is. I mean, hockey is just one of those sports that you don't know what's going to happen because if Florida would have won that game, who knows what would have happened in Game 6. And, and that's like, it just takes one game. And what's so impressive about the Vegas Golden Knights is the fact that they are the fastest team to win a Stanley Cup championship as far as expansion teams go, because the Flyers had that record, which was 7. It took Vegas 6 years. And that's very impressive. And also to consider that they did not even make the playoffs last year. I mean, they went through their trials and tribulations the last couple of years, going to a Stanley Cup final in their first, year of existence. They didn't win it all, but they got there. And then they've been close. And then last year they didn't make the playoffs at all. And this year they did, and they redeemed themselves. And congratulations to Vegas for a hell of a win, hell of a season. And last Tuesday, there was a party in Vegas. Like, it was the crowd in that arena just seemed to be so into it. And also the people, shout outs to the people outside the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. There was more people on the outside than there was on the inside that was watching this unfold. And just very happy that the Golden Knights are the second team in Vegas to win a championship after the WNBA team won their championship last year. And it's really remarkable that now, after this Stanley Cup championship victory by the Golden Knights, they have officially proved themselves to the entire sports landscape that we are officially a hockey town. And that's a great win for this city, a great win for this team, for this organization. And again, hats off to Florida for a great, magic carpet ride run to the Stanley Cup Finals. But the Cinderella story did not end with a championship, but it did for the Vegas Golden Knights. So again, congratulations to Vegas.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of hockey, I'd like to point this out real quick. Or I'd like to share this. CM Punk, of course, was in Chicago this past week for Collision. Well, he was in the locker room getting ready, and he had paid a little visit from the Blackhawks mascot, Tommy Hawk, who presented him with the Chicago Blackhawks Team World title as a gift to him. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, back to the Vegas Golden Knights. Anybody else want to touch on that real quick? Joey, KR?
I do got to give props to the Las Vegas Knights. I mean, like Steven said, and like you said earlier, Ezra, only 6 years of existence that this team has been around, and already they got their first Stanley Cup. And not only was this their first trip to the Stanley Cup, this was actually their second trip to the Stanley Cup final in their 6 years of existence. So I got to give major props and a major shout out to the Las Vegas Golden Knights and that organization. I mean, they have come a long way since not even being known as a team 10 years ago to having 2 Stanley Cup final appearances and that 1 Stanley Cup championship. And Florida, yeah, it was a tough ride for them. It really was. but Florida has nothing to be ashamed of because they came into the Stanley Cup playoffs as a major underdog. Major underdog. Nobody gave them even a sliver of a chance to beat the Boston Bruins in the first round, especially when they went down 3-1. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this Boston team is going to destroy Florida. They ain't going to have much of a chance." And yada yada yada, but Florida was like, "Well, let's shine our skates, get back on that ice, and show these hockey fans exactly what we're made of." And that's exactly what they did. Getting past Boston, then getting past I want to say it was the Maple Leafs in the semis, and then the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That is correct.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry. It was the Rangers.
the Rangers. That's it. But yeah, I mean, Florida, they have nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, like I said, they came into the Stanley Cup playoffs as a major underdog, and they may have lost the Stanley Cup final in 5 games, but they gave it everything they could. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for Vegas. So,
Yeah, I gotta say congratulations to them too, because I know, to be honest, I'm gonna keep it real. I think the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs were very similar in that aspect. Like a Florida team, an 8 seed, a Miami Heat 8 seed, get to the finals, and then here's the biggest part of it: Vegas doing what the Denver Nuggets did. They have to make up for a pathetic ass football team in that city, which they both did. The Vegas Golden Knights making up for the circus as we know as the Raiders in Vegas, and the Denver Nuggets making up for the circus we know as the Denver Broncos, and actually making the city proud. And that's what it's about. So congratulations, Golden Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just another great season done for them. And now we move on to our next topic of discussion, and that is we're gonna go into the NFL. Why not? And of course, our boy Adam Schefter, if you want to call him our boy, Adam Schefter has always got updates, and there was a couple of signings that happened today. The Rams are bringing back free agent Sonny Michel for a second stint in Los Angeles.
Interesting.
Yep. Yep. The Steelers have signed former Bears linebacker Nick Kwiatkowski and released former Bears wide receiver Anthony Miller. Let's see. Real quick here. We also got there's a lot of different things going on right now. Of course, Adam Schefter tweeting freaking NBA news, which apparently he's that bored. It was revealed last week that JJ Watt was going to retire, or JJ Watt was going to be put into the Houston Texans Ring of Honor. Well, it's also been announced that his number will also be retired at that ceremony as well.
nice.
So, also, Carson Wentz has been spending time in Tampa, throwing and studying film with John Gruden.
Wow. Okay.
Wait.
Wait. Whoa.
Wait,
Hold up.
wait a second. Wait just a doggone second. Are you telling me that Carson Wentz is studying tape with John Gruden just so he can be a potential backup quarterback for one of the biggest busts in NFL history named Baker Mayfield? Oh my gosh. Tampa Bay, y'all have really gone downhill if you're going to rely on
That's
Baker
why I don't like telling
Mayfield and
See, this is
Carson
why I
Wentz.
like not telling you guys the news stories beforehand, because we get genuine reactions like this.
Wow. Going from the GOAT Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield and potentially Carson Wentz. Oh my God, that makes you want to roll on the floor. Wow.
Kevin,
Wow.
say something.
I wonder if he's trying to delete pictures just like John Gruden deleted his emails. He's trying to delete pics. Yeah, you can't take back that pick six, buddy, that you threw last year. You can't take back all the turnovers, all the incompletions, all the bad plays you made in Washington and Philadelphia. You can't do it.
He keeps sucking. He's going to end up deleting his whole career. Fuck. Speaking of busts, the Raiders have signed second round draft pick tight end Michael Mayer.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Just wanted to bring that into focus. Speaking of that, right here, Ravens first round pick Zay Flowers reached an agreement on a 4-year, $14 million fully guaranteed contract with a $7.2 million signing bonus to be paid in 2023. So, a bunch of rookies have signed contracts recently. Colts rookie 5th round pick safety Daniel Scott tore his ACL on the last day of OTAs. Last week he's placed on IR.
Interesting.
Speaking of the Texans, and we mentioned the Texans earlier with J.J. Watt, defensive tackle Malik Collins is signed to a 2-year, $23 million extension that includes $20 million of a guaranteed money. So, Stephon Diggs participated in mini camp as after pretty much people were saying that he was going to sit out, but he stuck around. Other news: the Rams have converted $13.92 million of Cooper Kupp's base salary into a signing bonus, creating $10.44 million in cap space this year.
Interesting.
Kevin is stickering.
I'm trying to see which one of them's more dumber, the Cardinals or the Rams, and it looks like the Cardinals. It's a race to 3 wins between them two teams because they didn't make a single offseason move, and the best they can do is Sonny Michel. Go on.
Hey, Kevin, you could probably include the Bucks in that deal if they go on to sign Carson Wentz.
Oh my God.
Dude, I still can't get over that. Carson Wentz is trying out for another football team. Oh my God.
Not only that, he's training with John Gruden.
I know. That's what's so laughable. Is the fact that you're going to be competing possibly with Baker Mayfield. Welcome to football hell, Tampa. Welcome to football hell.
Well, no. Football hell is actually a couple states upwards in a state called North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well,
and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The worst division in football.
The Panthers to at least the South title.
See now you're just making excuses.
Well,
so what?
It's one thing that there's one thing that can be said. Both the AFC South and the NFC South are the worst divisions I have ever seen in a long time in football.
Hell, the fucking NFC North is better. And finally, all 4 teams actually have a fucking chance.
Yeah. It's bad when Carolina.
Yeah, the NFC South will be just like the NFC East a couple years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. The NFC South will have another year just like the Panthers won the division with their 7-8-1 record from a couple years ago.
That was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, by the way, speaking of teams, and we're talking about NFC teams, NFC East, whatever, NFC North, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In AFC, DeAndre Hopkins is expected to visit, or he visited with the Patriots a couple days ago. So they said there's no animosity between him and Bill O'Brien in the past, or there was animosity, but They said that things were cool, and he met with Bill O'Brien, and they talked a little bit. But
as long as he stays the hell away from New York and those JETS Jets, I'll be happy.
Yeah, because if he goes back, go ahead.
There's a little bit of also good surprising news that came out of it also is that on Adam Schefter's podcast, talking to Dalvin Cook said he's planning on signing wherever DeAndre Hopkins signs. Talking about teaming up with DeAndre Hopkins. That's pretty interesting to note.
Yes.
Well, that pretty much rules Miami out of the picture because Miami already has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They ain't gonna be able to afford both Cook and Hopkins.
Sounds like Buffalo to me because they said Stephon Diggs, speaking of going back to what you said, Ezra, sat out of camp or is frustrated at camp because of the lack of them signing DeAndre Hopkins. He said he restructured his contract to create cap room to sign DeAndre Hopkins. And the Bills didn't do it, and they're not using them right, and Stephon Diggs is angry, so to speak, like furious from what they said. And Sean McDermott is even like concerned where this is going and if he could possibly be traded. Who ever knows? But that all stems back that he wants DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see if the Bills can do something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very well put.
I mean, this Bills organization has gone through it in the last year and a half or plus. I mean, going from on the brink of the Super Bowl, last year, if it wasn't for 13 seconds, or I'm sorry, the championship game against Cincinnati, losing to Mahomes and the Chiefs in the divisional round. And then this year, all these Super Bowl expectations, and they didn't even make it, not even to the championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. I mean, so I think this is the Bills' toughest test in the offseason that they're facing is because they cannot afford to lose one of their top weapons in Stephon Diggs because he is a huge part of what makes their offense go, along with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree with that. They can't afford to lose him, no. But if they're able to gain DeAndre Hopkins, holy shit. That's all
you get him and Diggs and Davis on the same team, look out.
Yeah.
And not to mention Buffalo's number one need right now is a true between the tackle running back. So let's say that Dalvin Cook signing wherever Hopkins signs thing is true. You're killing two birds with one stone by getting Hopkins. Now you get a running back who can run between the damn tackles from first through third down because the poor Bills ain't had a running back so good since Marshawn Lynch and Shady McCoy, but at the end of his prime, the Bills don't know what a running back is. So if you could somehow snag Dalvin Cook away, I mean, that's killing two birds with one stone.
If that's the case, Buffalo has no excuses after that.
Oh.
None.
Nope.
None.
Also, we're talking about sports athletes. Pat McAfee had his Pat McAfee show today, which he had on Wyndham Clark, I believe his name is. He's the winner of the U.S. Open. Yeah, they had him on today. But the biggest thing was he had Seth freaking Rollins was supposed to be on the show. Well, Seth didn't make it to the show because it was intercepted by, let me introduce him as ladies and gentlemen. His name is Paul Heyman. So, Heyman showed up on Pat McAfee's show to announce Fastlane coming to Indianapolis to the Frontier, what formerly known as the Frontier Park Fieldhouse. So, but that was just pretty cool. I wanted to note that. And really, that's it for NFL news. That's all I got. Anything you guys want to talk about in the world of the NFL before we move on to NBA?
Yeah, fuck the Cowboys. That's all.
How did I know that was coming somewhere in this episode?
Well, I must admit, I am a fan of two different football teams. Yes, I said it. I'm a diehard 49er fan, and whoever the fuck is beating the shit out of Dallas. I love them too, goddarn it. At least for that Sunday.
It's like me. I'm a double football fan too. I'm not a fan of all 32 teams like Tommy Dreamer, but I am a fan of two
Fraud.
teams. Yeah, fraud. I am a fan of the Chicago Bears and any team that is beating the fuck out of Aaron Rodgers. The end of the story.
I gotta ask you, Ezra, because I've seen this on Twitter the other day.
Yeah.
And I know you're gonna be mad, but Jordan Love had said a question Sunday. He told all the Bears fans, he said, "Hey, y'all all need to wish us a happy Father's Day." I felt, oh no, he didn't. The guy ain't got one NFL win, and he's talking junk already. I said, well.
Well, we can. Well, here's the thing: we can wish him whatever, happy Father's Day, whatever. It doesn't matter, because in the end, we're gonna end up making Jordan Love and the entire Green Bay Packers our bitch this year. So guess what? We're gonna own the Green Bay. We're gonna own the Green Bay Packers like the Patriots owned everybody for like fucking 3 straight years.
Jesus. And still currently on the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Just
But yeah, I ain't worried about Jordan Love's comments. I ain't worried about it. His one of his other players saying best QB in the league. What fucking drugs are you on? What fucking drugs are you on to say that Jordan Love is the best quarterback in the league? You must be on something, man. As Bully Ray said, you picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah, Roger Goodell needs to have a drug test incoming right now for those comments.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Antonio Brown has been an owner of a football team.
Where is Antonio Brown? He ran off the field and he cannot be found.
Well, actually, Steven, you're a little too late on that. He is the owner of a football team, ex-owner, because they kicked him out now.
Yes, they did.
Oh my
week.
God. He was the owner, now he's an ex-owner, just like that.
He's an owner and then an ex-owner, just like that. Disaster. Absolutely disaster.
Oh,
disaster. God. Back-to-back championships for that team. He comes to the team, sucks.
Oh, by the way, the person who said that Jordan Love is the best QB in the league is his fellow cornerback, Jake Alexander.
Of course, it had to be someone that was his own teammate. Jesus Christ,
had to be, yes.
Just like Tyreek Hill needed to be drug tested when he said Tua was the most accurate quarterback in NFL history after playing those seasons with Mahomes. I'm like, cut it out.
And right now,
I don't know if it's just like unwritten rule of football that you have to put your quarterback, no matter who they will be, on a pedestal to make it look like he's Jesus Christ himself. But that's laughable. And another one I thought was not really laughable because the gap is a little closer, but the fact that they asked Jamar Chase, who's the best quarterback in football? He says Joe Burrow. Okay, I can argue that. Joe Burrow to me is the second best in the league. But then that the reporter asked Jamar Chase, said, what about Pat? Talking about Mahomes. Jamar Chase responds, Pat who? Who's Pat? And then Patrick Mahomes goes on Twitter and posts a picture with his 2 championship rings and the score of them beating the Bengals this year and said, that's who. 2 rings in your face. Wow. Talk about heating up the rivalry. I love it. I'm all for it.
That was probably after shotgunning a beer with Luke Combs live on stage too.
Probably. I mean, that's funny to me how.
Oh, it's Steven. Oh yeah, I gotta post this. Real quick before you continue. I'll say this much. That comment about Tua, it's kind of hard for Tua to be accurate right now when he's fucking having more double vision than Foreigner's second album.
Yeah.
By the way, happy 45th anniversary to Double Vision.
What a great
I just know that Mahomes fired back as fast as he stopped Travis Kelce from talking at the White House on the microphone. They stopped Travis Kelce pretty damn fast. They didn't want him to embarrass himself at the White House.
He was about ready to probably go into full rock promo in the White House.
Yeah,
probably.
He was going to call some senator a jabroni.
Mitch McConnell, he probably said he with Mitch McConnell's candy ass or something.
It's funny to me how Mahomes, even though he's won that second Super Bowl championship, his name is still being disrespected. Like, put some respect on his name and respect his greatness, because this young man, not even hitting his 30s yet, has already done something that Allen or Burrow has not even accomplished yet. And that's win not one, but 2 Super Bowl titles and an MVP multiple times and a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yes. By the way, quick shout out in the chat to our boy Randy Gyron, and of course his father William Gyron. Hello,
What's up?
YouTube.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's
up,
up,
gentlemen?
Randy? What's up, William?
So, guys, hope you all having a good day. And
Hey,
as always.
Hey, Randy, do you still have your Vegas Raiders card in hand? Because your buddy TB12 is an owner.
No, I think he burned that a long time ago.
Pretty sure he did.
Probably.
Pretty sure.
But yeah, I do agree with you. It's crazy how Patrick Mahomes is still getting disrespected, even though he's proved he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, one of the best QBs in the league, if not the best QB in the league. And
especially right now. I mean, what he has done in the last 6 years, this is Brady-esque. I mean, this, whether we like Brady or not, respect what he's done over his career, and now what Mahomes is doing right now. Because it wouldn't surprise me if that young man wins another Super Bowl or 2. I mean, that's how good he is.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes has really achieved a lot. Mahomes has really achieved a lot, and I don't know if there's anybody, maybe Joe Burrow if he gets up there, and maybe Josh Allen, but I don't see anybody else that can match up to the potential that Patrick Mahomes gets on that field on any given Sunday.
No,
absolutely. I mean, and I understand that, that the guys in Cincinnati, they believe that Joe Cool, Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty is that he's the best. Of course they'll say that because they're backing up their teammate. But you got to look at it from a realistic standpoint, that Mahomes, he listens. And he listens to the media. He listens to the naysayers around him, because come New Year's Eve, when Cincinnati takes on KC, he's going to use that to add fuel to the fire.
By the way, this is a message for everybody who thinks that Patrick Mahomes isn't the best. Probably this is what is with them.
Okay, is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
Got that soundbite in there. Nice. Not much more I can say to that. Love it.
Oh, love it when I find the right sound bites usually. But yeah, that's all I got in the NFL news world. Oh, and also this is a message for the people who think they're right in their opinions. They are
wrong. You're wrong.
Oh,
Hell
my
yeah.
Lord.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. All right. Moving on. We got definitely some NBA news to discuss, and
do we?
And this is the biggest one, and that is that
yes,
it was announced
sir.
a couple days ago that John Morant has officially been suspended once again for posting himself playing with a gun on Instagram. This time, he has been suspended for 25 games.
Should have been for the full season, but I digress.
What are your guys' opinions on that?
I want to dive into this for a minute.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
I do see JJ Redick's point when he said he didn't do nothing illegal in the video. I get that. I truly do. Okay, I get it. Didn't shoot nobody. He's not under investigation for a murder case or nothing or yada, yada. But here's the thing. After he got suspended those 10 games and went to rehab and all this stuff, his mental rehab, he was told He looked Adam Silver right in his eye and said, "Sir, I will not do this again. I will not have no incidents pop up again. I'm a different changed guy." So he does this now, and yeah, while he did nothing illegally, criminally, he still basically slapped Adam Silver in the face and said, "Yeah, I lied to your ass. I don't give a fuck." So Adam Silver gave him that 25 games. Like, hold on, you can't. No, you're not going to sit there and tell me one thing and not keep your word, and I'm going to punish you for not keeping your word. So, yes, I agree with that. The 25-game suspension is not even more about, suspending him because he's going to jail. No, it's about we're going to cost you 25 games because according to the new CBA and the collective bargaining agreement, a player must play 60 games now, no more rest nights and stuff to be able to make MVP, all defense, all NBA, all this stuff to get the Supermax deal or get money incentives. By Adam Silver blatantly costing Ja Morant 25 games, he's basically saying, you're not making all NBA this year. You're not winning MVP this year. I'm going to keep you from that. And then let's see if you still keep your behavior up like that. So I'm all for it. I'm fine with the 25 games. I don't think it should have been the whole season, but I think right now Adam Silver's fed up with it, and this is his last strike. And if he don't change, I think this is his last strike. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that 2020 draft class. I really don't, because I don't know if y'all have heard the drama with Zion going on right now, but between him and Ja Morant's troubles, oh my God.
Oh, dude, I've heard about that. Let me
just say this: the theme of them two, the draft class was called Guns and Buns, and Guns and Buns, folks.
Basically, before we get off this topic, and we kind of wish he would have gotten off that girl, but I digress. Was that a porn star that he was messing with and having sex with has announced that if Zion is not traded by the Pelicans, that she will release the sex tapes of them two that she supposedly has. Of course, it's probably for like $20 on her OnlyFans. But she's planning to release those sex tapes if Zion is not traded. She's basically trying to hold up the New Orleans Pelicans for that. But that's beside the point. The point is, you're right. Look, John did not do anything criminally. He did not shoot a person. There was no armed robbery, nothing of that sort. But still, he's part of an organization that has a policy that involves what? And that is conduct detrimental to the team. And what it is not only is it conduct detrimental to the team, but it's conduct detrimental to the league. And to me, the 25-game suspension is just. Does he deserve a little bit more? Maybe, but I think 25 games for the violation and the fact that it's not something that is criminally serious, I think it does fit. It took me a little bit to realize that, and thinking, they should be suspended the whole season, no, blah blah blah. But understandably so, it's not a criminal act. It's just him being immature and being stupid. Obviously, when you get money, when you become famous, a lot of people don't know how to handle that, and a lot of people don't know how to react to it and be mature about it. And unfortunately, Ja Morant, for his sake, has not been mature.
No.
The second time in a row, he's held a gun up on IG, acting dumb with it. He should know better by now, but this is all part of learning, and this is all part of consequence. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Yep. And for him, the stupid prize is a 25-game suspension and not being able to play. So, you know what? To me, Adam Silver made the right decision. He made the right call. And I feel that the punishment is just for what it is.
And I'll add to this as well. Adam Silver's policies now, basically, like you said, Kev, as far as, no more of this, multiple games taken off and stuff. Hats off to him for doing that, because that takes a lot of balls and a lot of authority, to stand, put your foot down basically and saying, hey, you're not going to be taking this, this many days off. And also to add to that with this Morant suspension, it's not surprising, and I agree with you that, yes, he did not break any rules as far as killing anybody or all of that sort of stuff, but it makes you look foolish, for even doing this. And not only that, but telling the commissioner that I'm a changed man. I'm not going to do that again. And then he does it again. My uncle has always said to me, and I agree with this saying, and, a leopard never changes its spots. And if Morant does not get his act together, he's going to do it again. And what's that going to lead to? Probably a permanent ban from the NBA. This is a talented young man who has already been to the playoffs. He's been to the second round, and he's a talented ball player, but he is very young, very immature, and he needs to grow up. And there's players that were his age, hell, as much shit as we give LeBron was more mature at Morant's current age right now than Morant is, right now, obviously. I mean, you didn't see LeBron doing this kind of crap, on the internet and stuff like that or out in public. LeBron never did that, and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony and Kobe Bryant. I mean, none of these guys did that to jeopardize their image.
And look, as much as we give LeBron grief for the way he acts on the court, obviously a lot of it is, he can be a little bit of a drama queen, but outside of the court, he remains professional. He doesn't go out and do stupid things outside of Space Jam sequel, but that's a whole different discussion for a whole other time. But to me, he's a professional off the court. You never see that. You never see LeBron getting in trouble. You never see LeBron breaking rules. You never see LeBron conduct detrimental to the team. LeBron has always been the consummate NBA guy. And unfortunately, John Morant is proving that he is not that. There's times where, you can have fun, maybe, or whatever, and maybe it gets you in a little heap of trouble. Maybe you suspended a game. Maybe you get your pay deducted from one game, whatever. But okay, fine. You get the slap on the wrist. You learn from it. But
you know what?
What John Morant is doing is completely immature, completely stupid. And this is the second time he's done it. And this is a pattern for bad behavior. This is a pattern for a guy who should be, with the level of play that he has, with the level of just skill and intensity and everything that he has, he should be up here. But he's moving himself further down the ladder the more he makes these mistakes. And to me, when it comes down to it, he has to be professional because that's what the league expects. The league expects you to put yourself in a manner that represents not only yourself, that only represents your agent, that only represents your sponsors, but it represents the league. And that's the whole point, is that he's not representing the league in a positive light. If he did that, there would be no issues, and that's why he's suspended 24 games for acting like a fucking moron.
And here's my thing with it. Like, you come in the league, you get drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies, who are obviously in rebuild mode. You are the face of a city's franchise. You can't be doing dumb stuff like that. And what's even crazier to me, like, put the sports aside, you have a 3 to 4 year old little girl looking up to you, watching you act like a straight fucking clown, and you're being a bad example as a parent. You can't lead your kids this way. You can't do that and have people in Memphis thinking, bro, why is our leader acting so childish? And I'll tell you one thing, though, about this. Draymond brings a good point up. I know he's a grown man. He's his own person. He makes his own decision. He's not mature. I get that. But the NBA has went away from this, but the lack of veteran leadership in these locker rooms are most likely the cause of a lot of trouble in the locker rooms because I've never seen an organization that has their shit together, has veterans in it. You know why they talk about the Miami Heat culture? You know why they say, oh, the Heat culture, they do right. You know why? Because Udonis Haslam's a 43-year-old essentially basketball player who's got a veteran mindset, who's mature, who's going to lead these young guys in the right direction. You don't see Tyler Hero going out and getting in trouble in nightclubs and this and that because Udonis Haslam, because of Pat Riley. Like, they are they know what they're doing. They know how to handle stuff. Same with Golden State, Steve Kerr, these veterans and all this. That's not like, you're not going to go out there and get in trouble because you have the veterans leading the way. Now, when I look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they not have one veteran on that team except for maybe Steven Adams. He is the only veteran they have on that team. Everybody else is as young and dumb as Ja. I mean, some of them ain't doing the decisions that Ja Morant's make, but it does not matter. Like, there is no veteran leadership to pull him to the side and say, you need to cut this shit out right now. That's not how you do it. You're not setting a good example, and you're not being a good role model. Now, with that being said, now here's the negative about Ja, and here's what I hate the most. For the first time ever, I'm siding with Kyrie Irving on this. Nike, what the fuck, man? So Kyrie doesn't get a COVID vaccine, and we're not going to get into the vaccine stuff, but here's my thing. Just because he doesn't get into the COVID vaccine and he believes a different religious belief, you cut him off from Nike, you cut his sponsors and everything. But Ja Morant can over there and essentially support gun violence and guns and this and that. And for the second time in a row at Nike, we're not going to cut him. We're in full support of Ja. What the fuck, man? I mean, come on, dude. So you cut a guy for his personal beliefs who did nothing criminally wrong, but a guy who's literally for a league who has been pushing back against gun violence since 2018. Oh, we support Ja. Come on, man. What kind of shit is that, Nike? I mean, really. Like, I get it. Kyrie, nobody agrees with a lot of stuff Kyrie does. He's a toxic teammate, but his vaccine status, religious belief, that's his personal thing. You can't cut a man because of his own personal belief, but you don't cut a man who literally is waving a gun on Instagram Live and is a horrible role model for everybody watching him. I mean, I don't get it. It's just ass backwards, in my opinion.
Very well said. Very well said. Because, Curry and Thompson and Green are the veterans of Golden State, and they've been on this team for years. And it's up to them, along with the coaching staff and all of these great organizations that have been, in existence for years, have always had leaders of men that have passed upon down their excellency and their brilliance of, being a great mind, for the locker rooms and stuff. And it's young players like Morant. Honestly, they take this for granted. And the Grizzlies are a young, immature team. I mean, you have a team that Dylan Brooks obviously is probably more than likely going to be gone. But Dylan Brooks is a cancer to a locker room because of his attitude. John Morant is headed that way because he's going out doing stupid things. And I hope that at some point Morant gets his act together, but it's up to him because this is Adam Silver saying, hey, brother, you're gonna serve time for spitting in my face and in this sports league and your team and your fans and the fans in the NBA in general. Because think about it. There are young NBA fans, either of the Grizzlies or just NBA fans in general, who love watching this young man, play the game of basketball. Great. He's a great forward. He's a great player, good defender, good shooter. But he might have all the talents on the court, but what he lacks is maturity and just knowing what to do and what not to do. And Morant had to be put in his place. And I honestly, just knowing how his track record is, it wouldn't surprise me if he does something stupid again. That's just how these players act, that go down this path for the most part. There are some players that get their act together. It happens, but it's up to the player to clean their act up.
Exactly, because how many times have we seen star athletes get, I guess you can say, under the radar by policemen for doing stupid stuff like this? I mean, we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it happen a lot, and sometimes it's not even just off the court. Sometimes it's even on the court. I mean, take that huge fight, and this is just a random example that I'm throwing out. But think back to that huge fight back in 04, 05. I think it was called the Malice in the Palace.
Ron
Ron
Artest.
Artest was in the
Yep.
fighting fans. I mean, come on, dude. Why would you do stupid stuff like that? I mean, yeah, I get that you were upset because the fan threw a water bottle at you, but that doesn't mean you got to go halfway up into the stands and beat his butt in front of everybody. I mean, come on, man.
It was a cup of alcohol.
I'll give you a little example right here. Steven knows where I'm going with this, but you talk about track record, and I agree. You need to get it under control now, because I'll give you a good story of someone who had a track record that ended up leading to him costing his own life. Aaron Hernandez. He started out the same way John Green started. Gun charges. Go guns here. I got a gun here. I got a gun in the club here. I got a gun there. All over the Florida University campus. After that, it was, he got arrested for a shooting in a nightclub. He got arrested for assault. Then after that, what happened? Double homicide. So,
yep.
I'm not saying, that's going to happen. I'm just saying the track record always comes back if you're not changed, and the crimes get worse. The shit gets more and more serious. And who's to say next time, instead of him waving a gun, he damn near shoots a gun. So, I mean, you need to get it under control. I don't know. Memphis, the owner, I don't know, his family, his daddy. I don't know. I don't know. But someone, he needs to sit down and grow up. That's as simple as I can put it.
Yep.
I mean, so many star athletes mess themselves up because of the stupid stuff they do off the field. We've seen it happen time and time and time
Gilbert
again.
Arenas, good call.
Yep, the gun
Gilbert
charge.
Arenas, there you go.
Carrying the gun in an airport.
And how about the fight in the locker room between Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton from a few years back?
Yep.
And and sometimes it's the stupid stuff that they do to their own teammates. I mean, think back to trying to remember the guy's name, Richie Incognito, the guard for the Miami Dolphins, when he and some other guy
forgot about that. Yes.
I mean, they were bullying one of their own teammates. I mean, bruh, what in the world?
Of course, we forgot about him. He's been incognito.
But yeah, I mean, even that sort of incident where you're bullying one of your own teammates. I mean, where's the team chemistry? Apparently, it didn't exist that day or in that time frame. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, because you're a star athlete and you make millions of dollars doing just putting a ball through the hoop, catching a football, or hitting a home run out of the ballpark, it doesn't matter how you make your millions of dollars. The one thing you do not do is act like a daggone ridiculous fool off the court or off the field or outside the rink or wherever you play your events at. You don't act like a fool on the streets and think you're going to get by with it. It's that simple.
Yep.
All right, moving on to some more NBA news. Kyle Kuzma has declined his $13 million player option and will become a free agent.
He's seen that trade the Wizards made and said, seeing what they got in return, and said, "Fuck that, I'm not sticking around."
Speaking of that trade, let's talk about that right now. And that is that the trade has been said is that Bradley Beal is officially gone from the Wizards. And right here also leading the Suns out of this trade is Chris Paul. See right here, the official thing is the Washington Wizards. They're going to send Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns for a package expected to include Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and a pick swap. And the Wizards also agreed to send Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd to the Suns. Who won in that trade?
Honestly, this might be the first lose-lose trade that I have seen since the Ben Simmons, James Harden trade in Brooklyn and Philadelphia. I mean, Washington does, for a superstar like Bradley Beal, doesn't get a single first-round pick in return. Landry Shamet is a bench player. He's a role player at best. And Chris Paul, which they already said after the news that Washington is gonna reroute him to possibly the Clippers to reunite on the Clippers somewhere out west again. So Chris Paul's about to be traded away from Washington as soon as he lands down there. So my thing is, why? I mean, Washington didn't get a single fucking thing for their superstar, one of the top premier players in this league. They get nothing. And Phoenix, oh my God. First of all, let me just say, Frank Vogel is your fucking coach, by the way. So, yeah, not like you damn upgraded from Monty Williams in the first place. And second of all, can Bradley Beal ball? Yes, sir. He is a beast. Can Kevin Durant and Devin Booker ball? Yes, sir. Those are monsters. But these last playoffs, these last 3 years with the Bucks, Warriors, and the Nuggets proved one thing. You got to have a bench. It don't matter who you got in your fucking starting lineup. If you don't got a fucking bench, you're not going to win. I've watched games this season where the Nuggets in the series against the Suns, the Nuggets won by 25 points. You know what was even worse than that? Kevin Durant had 43 and Devin Booker had 45. Still lost by 25 points. You know why? The Suns don't have a fucking bench. They gave their bench away for Kevin Durant. Now, the last person on the bench they gave away for Bradley Beal. They literally are going to have some AI-generated players out there, robots, damn NPCs out there just sitting on the bench because they don't have no money or no players. You got a bunch of damn, okay, you got 3 superstars, but who else is going to fill out your damn roster? Who's playing point guard? Jesus Christ, you got two guards, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, a forward/power forward, Kevin Durant. Who the fuck is your one guard? Who's gonna run the offense? Is it a free for all? Is it New York? Like, are we playing in the are we going like the Harlem Globetrotters? What are we doing? Like, are we playing street ball? Are we playing in the Bronx? Like, what? Come on. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, could it work? Yes, I agree. I've seen Devin Booker fill in for Chris Paul plenty of times. Okay, cool. But if you don't got a bench, again, the Denver Nuggets are going to put your ass right back out, just like they did this year. The only difference is, now Durant's going to score 45, and Devin Booker's going to score 45, and Bradley Beal's going to score 38, and you still lose by 15 because you don't have a fucking bench. And other teams out west have a bench. I mean, I will gladly admit that I'm wrong when I see it, but I just don't believe. And this is Kevin Durant's 4th super team, and he has failed all of them except the ones that he literally got carried to the NBA final stage by the Golden State Warriors. He literally failed in Oklahoma City. He literally failed with the Brooklyn Nets. He literally failed last year with Devin Booker. Now add Bradley Beal. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to knock Kevin Durant, but darn.
It's terrible. It is a terrible, 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 terrible trade. Just when you look at the numbers, when you look at what both of these teams got in return, this is a lose-lose situation for both of these teams because, like you just said in an epic, epic, epic rant by you, bro. Dude, who is going to run this Phoenix team? Is it going to be Cameron Payne? Who the hell's going to be your Who the hell's going to be your backup point guard?
Listen, I really understand that Bradley Beal had a no trade clause. But why the fuck would you waive it for Phoenix when you could have waived it for Miami? Oh, by the way, one of the teams was just in the NBA Finals, and that team was not the Phoenix Suns.
Yes!
For crying out loud. Why would you rather go to the Suns? There's only one basketball, and you have two other premier scorers. Do you know what Miami needs? I know I didn't talk about it because of the last of the finals. Congratulations to the Nuggets, by the way. But you know what the Miami Heat need? What would have made them legit contenders? A number one scorer. Not knocking Jimmy Butler. He is such an unselfish person. He doesn't want to take 30 shots. He's a guy who settles for like Klay Thompson. I'm fine with 15 shots. You need a guy who's going to go out and score. I mean, chunk it up. Bradley Beal could have done that for the Miami Heat. Oh, and by the way, you know what the Heat wanted or you know what the Wizards wanted from the Heat? I read just Duncan Robinson in a first round pick. You mean to tell me the Miami Heat could have kept their entire core, the guys who got them to the finals, and added Bradley Beal for nothing? And Bradley Beal would rather waive his clause for Phoenix? I mean, come on. Phoenix? When they couldn't even get past the second round in 2 consecutive years.
And they lost in game 7.
And Miami has been in the Eastern Conference Final since 2019 every single year. But you'd rather go to Phoenix, where you might not even be but the number 3 option, when you could have went to Miami and been the 1 option. Come on.
Yes.
I mean, come on. It just don't make any sense to me, dude.
I don't get it. I legitimately do not get it. I mean, Miami has every intangible to be a threat in the Eastern Conference. You got Victor Oladipo coming back. You got Tyler Hero coming back. You got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy gets buckets. You got Bam Adebayo. You have Caleb Martin. You have, Gabe Vincent. You have all of these great role players for Miami. And you could have gone to that and been the guy, because he's always been the guy scoring the ball with Washington. He was content staying in a shitty organization, being the guy and getting points. But he let the super team factor say, the hell with that. I want to go play with KD and Devin Booker. And now what does that get you, Phoenix? Nothing. Who's going to be the guy running your show? Who's going to be the de facto guy being the point guard, calling the plays, running the playbook? Who's going to be the guy? Because it sure as hell isn't going to be Cameron Payne. He's not a starting point guard mentality. He doesn't have that. He's a role player off the bench. That's why he's been backing up Chris Paul for the past 3 seasons. It is absolutely mind-boggling how, once again, thank God, the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Middleton, and now the 23 Nuggets with Jokic and Murray, along with their great role players, have finally changed the narrative of we have to have a super team. We have to have all of these freaking players to be on a basketball team of superstar capabilities to win a championship, because all of that bullshit has been put to bed, dead and buried. The Nuggets have 2 superstars and a bunch of great role players who know how to play their respective roles. And the great thing about this Nuggets team, just like the great thing about that Milwaukee Bucks team from 2021, is the fact that they had anybody on those teams that can show up at any time and flip the game on its ass. What the hell does Phoenix have? Nothing but shit. I mean, this is just, it's stupid. I mean, I cannot believe that you would choose an organization who is about to be free falling to the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the abyss, hell, straight to the basement. Phoenix could go, because they've been nothing but a disaster. They've been nothing but a failure for the past 2 seasons. Got beat in Game 7 by Dallas on May 14th, excuse me, at home. You lose to Denver in Game 6, again, by 25, because both of those teams, not Dallas now, but at that time, Dallas had role players, and obviously now Denver has role players that can single-handedly change the game. I mean, Phoenix has 3 dudes and 1 basketball. Who the hell is going to be the leader of this team? This is going to be even worse than the Brooklyn Nets. And they were a disaster. This is going to be so awful. This is going to make the Los Angeles Lakers super team look pretty tame, because, they won a championship in the Mickey Mouse era of the NBA playoffs. Phoenix hasn't done nothing. And this is like Kevin said at the top of the hour with this epic rant, and I'm adding to this as well. And we'll get to Joey on this. I mean, this is this is ridiculous. I mean, I cannot believe that you would choose, out of all teams, a team that has been a disaster, a failure, that hasn't been to the NBA Finals since 21, that, they didn't show up in the last couple of games when they were up 2-0, when they had chances to put a stranglehold on the series against the Bucks, when you still had Chris Paul, who is a, wait for it, starting point guard. Phoenix doesn't have a starting point guard no more. I mean, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker are 2 shooting guards. What? KD's going to be the new LeBron? He's going to be the point forward? Okay. Welcome to hell, Phoenix. May you burn eternally.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we equivalent to an elder rant by Stephen Wyand, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? This trade, I'll keep it short and simple. In the immortal words of Mr. L.A. Knight, this trade was about as useless as basketball cleats. And to cap it off, yeah.
Yeah. Joey?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Joey, on this just disaster?
You know, in the words of the Mr. Great Kevin Roy, this is definitely a lose-lose situation for both teams. Because, I mean, yes, Washington's Bradley Beal, or should I say Phoenix's Bradley Beal, is no doubt a star player. And it's no doubt that he's going to be joining 2 other star players in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. That is if KD decides to stick around. But that's another story for a whole nother day. But, yeah, if Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant reform a sort of a big 3 in Phoenix, yeah, it could get them places. But is it going to get them far in the playoffs? Probably not. Because, like you said, Steven, Phoenix does not have a bench to back them up. You can't put all your weight on 1, 2, even 3 complete star players who think they can take over the league any given night they step out onto the court. It's not going to happen. Because like I said a couple of weeks ago, it doesn't matter whether you're playing a basketball game, a football game, a baseball game, hockey game, soccer game, tennis match, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you have an opponent on the other side of the court, field, rink, whatever, that other team is going to have a 50% chance of winning. Forget the betting. Forget the CPI index or whatever it's called. Forget all that. Every single team, every single player has a 50% chance of winning. No matter what the stats may say. No matter what anything else might say that might make a team look so much better on the court. I mean, and the fact of the matter is, Washington has doomed themselves, like Kevin said, because they lost their star player, and what did they get in return? A bunch of draft picks, a nobody, and not to mention a washed-up point guard or a washed-up guard in general who thinks he has what it takes to lead a team? Bro, he hasn't led a team in his entire years, in his entire career of playing in the NBA, because Chris Paul is not a natural-born leader. He may have had that tactic, or he may have had that spot in high school, college, and maybe his first early years in the NBA, but that washed down the toilet mighty quick. Because Chris Paul is not a natural-born leader. He doesn't have what it takes to field a team. He doesn't have what it takes to lead a team. And there's no doubt in my mind that everybody's going to be looking at Chris Paul as the next savior for the Washington Wizards. Listen, if y'all couldn't do anything with two star players named Bradley Beal and John Wall, what makes you think that Chris Paul, a washed-up point guard, is going to take y'all to the promised land? Unless Washington fans are dreaming about it in their sleep at night. I mean, that's the only thing I could possibly think of. But, yeah, the fact of the matter is, this is a lose-lose situation for both teams. They gave away crap, and what did they do? And what did they receive in return? Crap. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Oh, moving on from that. God, that was long-winded. Holy shit. I didn't realize it would draw. Gotta love when these conversations draw this much attention, but moving on, we got to talk about another big one. Well, I'm going to wait till he comes back, but on that one. But we're going to talk about Michael Jordan selling the Charlotte Hornets. MJ, as shitty of an owner as he was, he's now even richer in person. Michael Jordan has agreed to sell the Hornets, his stake in the Hornets, for over $3 billion. And
hey,
what's up?
I was going to say, what can I say? I mean, he was a star on the court. He was a star in everybody's minds. He was a team leader. He was a true definition of a NBA basketball player. But as far as the owner's concerned, not so much.
Yeah, right here, let's see right here. It said that let's see right here. Jordan has sold this to a group led by Gabe Plotkin and Rick Schnall, Schnall is a minority owner with the Atlanta Hawks, and Plotkin was a minority owner with the Hornets. Also a part of this buying team is two celebrity figures, rapper J. Cole and country music star Eric Church, as well, who are a part of this buying group, and they will all have minority stakes in the Charlotte Hornets organization as well. So kind of very similar to Condoleezza Rice having a minority stake in the having a minority stake in the Denver Broncos organization. So, with that being said, that's huge. Michael Jordan, once again, he bought the team at the time for $275 million, and now he sells it for over $3 billion.
Hey, shout out to him. He might have been a shit owner and couldn't never bring nobody in to win for Charlotte, but he at least made some money off of that damn sale. But I thought it was funny. He waited until the NBA draft lottery to see if he would have got the number 1 pick, because if he would have got the number 1 pick, if he would have held off about 2 or 3 years from selling again, he probably got $6 billion out of it. Because that Victor Wembanyama kid is going to bring some money to wherever he goes. Probably San Antonio, but
yeah,
I
agree.
But speaking of the draft, what do you say we get into the draft a little bit?
Well, real quick, we got to go to one more news though, and that is, of course, we talked about this in the pre-show. And that is Draymond Green has announced that he is testing the free agency waters. Not really in a sense, because of course we know the proof is in the pudding, but details of this: Draymond Green has decided to leave $25.7 million on the table in order to quote unquote explore free agency. But in reality, we all know that he is looking to gain a pretty much a max contract for himself, or a big contract where he'll make more money in the long run, while also possibly coming up with a way to make it more affordable for the team to keep him. Also, we know his intentions of wanting to stick around with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson until the very end, until they all decide to walk. And you know what? We talked about this, and it brings me to wrestling. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, the American Nightmare Cody, all of their contracts with New Japan / Ring of Honor expired on January 1st. They all made sure that their contracts all expired around the exact same time when the move to AEW was announced. It's kind of similar in a way. Draymond is making sure that when he decides to go, that Steph and Klay will be right alongside him.
And you know what? I will say this about the Draymond Green situation. I was reading some articles today. It's like you said, the proof is literally in the pudding. I was watching the San Francisco Chronicles Newswire. It says Golden State and Draymond expected to have an extension worked on this summer. So there's that. And then also his agent, which is LeBron's agent, funny enough, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, basically said, yes, we will continue to talk to Golden State. Like, we'll explore options, but we're going to talk to Golden State. And even the new GM, by the way, who just got promoted the other day for the Golden State Warriors, Mike Dunleavy Jr., Duke protege under Coach K, basically said it too. He said, listen, we're going to do whatever it takes to get Draymond Green back. And Steve Kerr even said it in his postseason presser. He said, listen, if we don't have Draymond, we're not a championship contending team. It's that simple. So Golden State knows how bad they need Draymond. They need to get this done. They don't need to let him hit the market in July. They need to get this done before the end of June. They need to just go ahead and get it out of the way, because let's keep it real here. Yes, people don't like Draymond's antics, but he deserves a contract. He deserves that 3 more year contract till he retires. He deserves a big one. He deserves a bank. You talk about a guy who is the heart and soul of 4 championship teams, literally the heart, the Kevin Garnett heart of that team, the emotional leader, the guy who gets everybody up, who gets motivated, who knows when to yell and scream and jump around, and who knows when to tone it down at times. Sometimes gets carried away. Okay, yes, but he deserves it. One of the greatest defenders to ever play the game. I mean, we're talking about Gary Payton level defense, Dennis Rodman, guys like that, David Robinson, all guys like that who play defense. Draymond is in that tier, and he deserves his money. So I'm definitely happy he's gonna get his money, and I'm just hoping that it's true that he will be back with Golden State, because that's one guy they can't lose. They can lose Dunleavy, they can lose Jordan Poole, they can lose this and that, but the 2 guys on Golden State they cannot lose is Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, in that order, and then everybody else.
All right. With that being said, Joey, you brought it up. Let's move on to the NBA draft. And there was a video that came out today of the high ranked draft pick. I can't remember his name. Wendell, I think his first name is.
Victor Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama. They showed him riding the New York subway system for the first time ever to get to where he needs to get for the draft, which was funny and interesting. Also, real quick, there was a news that came up about I believe it was one of the here it is. I'm looking it up right now. Let's see here. I had it up just a second ago. Joey, go ahead and lead the charge on this the draft. What are your thoughts on the draft and and all that?
Well, obviously, Victor Wembanyama is going to go number 1 to the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, that was a no-brainer ever since the Spurs won the draft lottery. And I honestly have really high hopes for this 19-year-old kid because, I mean, yes, he's a 19-year-old kid, but the fact of the matter is they are already comparing him to the likes of a LeBron James, a Kobe Bryant, maybe even a Michael Jordan once he gets a year or a few years under his belt. I mean, they are looking at this guy as the next best overall prospect since Lord knows when. And I can tell you that we have seen our share of amazing overall prospects who have just made a continuous splash when it comes to making a name for himself in the draft. But now the question is, it was downright confirmed what the Charlotte Hornets were going to do, but now they're not so sure because everybody has been Alabama player Brandon Miller to join the Hornets, which honestly I don't think he's ready for the pros yet because he was a one-and-done flashy player at Alabama. But now they're saying that the guy from the G League Ignite, Scoot Henderson, could find his way to be the number 2 pick for Charlotte. And, I mean, I'm not particularly a fan of Charlotte, even though I do like watching them play sometimes because I'm definitely a Golden State fan, and that's never going to change. But if Charlotte really wants to make a name for themselves now that they have a new owner or now that they have new ownership, my honest opinion, I think they need to go after a guy like Scoot Henderson. Because Scoot Henderson, I mean, yes, he's a point guard, but he's one of the best skilled point guards in this NBA draft class. And I think that he's a player who can pass the ball when need to, but is also not afraid to post up against a real big man. I mean, who knows what we could see come Thursday night in the draft.
Well, as a Hornet follower, Joey, you might not want to look at this one, but they were actually talking about trading out of that 2 spot for like New Orleans, trading Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson to give New Orleans the number 2. And also, my biggest highlight for this NBA draft is going to be on Portland. The clock is running. The reason why, 2 things that were said for Portland. Either A, they're going to keep Dame and trade the number 3 pick for Dame some weapons because it's a win now. Dame is not ready to – they are not ready to draft at number 3 and expect him to be Dame's sidekick. That's 2 different eras. Dame it's about time to go. So someone said they're either going to keep Dame, trade the number 3 pick, and get a bunch of haul for it, which I originally thought trade the number 3 pick to the Wizards for Bradley Beal. Give Dame his backcourt mate like he used to have in CJ McCollum. That was my original thoughts. That's out of the waters. Someone also said that the Raptors were going to trade what's the guy? What's that small forward they had? And Pascal Siakam both to the Blazers for the number 3 pick. So that was even interesting now that he has opted out of his contract this year. And another one would be that Portland trades Dame and picks at number 3. The number 1 landing spot for Damian Lillard is the Milwaukee Bucks or the Miami Heat. So again, Miami is in good spots if they just and they got first round pick. So I mean, Miami is in a good position to give Portland that, so they can draft 2 players to grow and rebuild, and Dame can go to Miami and actually be a winning star and the number 1 option. So my highlight is definitely going to be on the Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard, because that is a big time story on what Dame wants to stay in Portland, but we all know when you're in 2 different eras, you can't do it. That's why Golden State, for example, is in their little tug of war with the future versus the now. You got the future like Jordan Poole and Kuminga is not working out well with the now. So, and everybody knows that, and Portland going to take some notes on that. So if we want to win now, we need to trade that 3 pick. If we want to rebuild for the future, we need to trade Dame. It's either or. I don't believe they'll pick and keep Dame.
Okay, what I was talking about, what I was getting to earlier was that Marquette's Oliver Maxence Prosper has received a green room invite to attend the NBA draft with his family on June 22nd. Prosper, now ranked 20 in the mock draft, has seen his stock skyrocket in the pre-draft process.
Interesting. But I will add to that, Kev, as far as the Dame situation, like Lillard is now at this mentality of his career where he wants to win something. He wants to do something. And I think that he will try to find a way to get out of there, because honestly, Miami is his best situation to go. That way he can go there and be the de facto leader. And have a good team behind him.
I agree. And I believe Portland they're so humble. It's not a bad organization. Let's be honest. They've had their fuck ups over their history, like drafting Greg Oden over Kevin Durant, but I digress. But no, Portland I believe they're so humbled for what Dame gave them and the loyalty, the way he stuck around, that they would literally be nice enough to ask Dame, where does he want to go? Literally give him the option to search for a trade partner, instead of just saying, you know what, they give me the best bet, so fuck you, get the hell out of here. Like Brooklyn did with Kevin Durant when they traded Durant to Phoenix. They basically said, look, you've done your part, you did what you can, where do you want to go? Basically. And I think Portland will definitely owe it to Dame. The city of Portland owes it to Dame to basically help him out, do what's best for him, because it's time they start looking after him, because all those years he's looked after Portland.
Agree?
Yep, I agree as well. Also, another player has received another green room invite, and that is Santa Clara's Brandon Podziemski. He's received another green room invite. He's now ranked number 19 in the mock draft and has a strong pre-draft process that has seen his stock soar over the past month.
Interesting.
I mean, I know the mock draft doesn't really mean much of anything, but if you're looking at and of course I believe the draft this year takes place actually here in Chicago.
It does.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes place in the Windy City, baby. And it will take place Thursday, I believe, at 7 p.m. or at 8 p.m. Eastern, over on ABC,
ESPN.
Okay, yeah, because next year they're planning on moving the draft over to ABC.
Yes. Oh, I will add on to this real quick about, like Joey was saying, you were talking about Brandon Miller and Scoot. Now, I got red flags on Brandon Miller. The reason why is we just had a whole discussion about John Morant, and this idiot is in the middle of a fucking homicide investigation. And I'm like, I don't think so, young guy. I just don't think so. You're in the middle of a homicide investigation, thinking you sold somebody an illegal gun, the same stuff we jumped on Ja. I mean, I'm going to keep the same energy jumping on him. Like, come on, dude. You want to be an NBA millionaire? You want to be a grown man? I mean, it's time to start acting like it. I don't know
Exactly.
if I drafted number 2 overall. And then the fact that his celebration in Alabama this year after that was absolutely the most disrespectful crap I've seen, where he would actually, when he get introduced on the court, he would go and one of his teammates would do a pat down like the police do to you. That was just a
Wow.
like that was just I would not draft a kid just because of that. Like, you obviously have the mindset of a 13-year-old kid. I mean, you got a bunch of talent, but you act like a 13-year-old. I'd rather take Scoot, the guy from the G League. He's already got, that's basically an NBA type atmosphere. I'd take him.
Not only that, but Kev, I will add to this. If there's any team that's going to draft him, it's probably Charlotte. Like, they're that dumb. They're that dumb. I hope they're not that dumb enough to do it. But
yeah, let's get another ball handler like we don't have LaMelo Ball. That sounds like Scott. That sounds like Charlotte to a T. Like,
such good shit.
Off-ball player like Henderson and keep LaMelo to have the ball. No, let's get another ball handler who's in the middle of a homicide investigation. Yep, that sounds like some. Maybe new ownership might prevail. I don't know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, as I was reading this, I had it up. The NBA draft, of course, the order, the top order here is San Antonio, Charlotte, Portland, Houston, Detroit, Orlando, Indiana, Washington, Utah, and Dallas, all in the top 10.
Makes sense.
Yep, right here. It's we'll see what happens, man. Thursday, it's gonna be Thursday's gonna be interesting to see who goes where. Of course, we know, like I said, of course, the number 1 is gonna go to San Antonio, but we'll see what happens from there. Let's get into a little bit of some baseball talk. And of course, Joey, of course, is our resident baseball expert here. The All-Star ballots have officially been announced. As we've mentioned before. All-Star voting ends Thursday for Phase 1. And speaking of baseball, we also got to mention this, tying into the NBA draft, that Victor Wembanyama was got to throw the first pitch at the New York Yankees game recently.
Nice.
Very impressive.
Yes,
very nice.
Very nice. King of the castle. That's a Borat reference for you illiterates. But yes, the MLB All-Star ballot is available right now. The standings as of right now, which is pretty hilarious. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading first base in the AL right now. We got Marcus Semien leading second base. Matt Chapman leading third. Shortstop Bo Bichette. Outfield Aaron Judge. Adley Rutschman from the Orioles leading catcher. And DH Shohei Ohtani. First base is Freddie on the National League. First base is Freddie Freeman. Second base, Luis Arias. Third base, Nolan Arenado. Shortstop, Orlando Arcia. Orlando Arcia is leading. Shortstop, and he's leading big with over 500,000 votes. Right now, not even
the guy's been a playmaker for Atlanta this year, so he deserves it.
The closest person is Francisco Lindor with 508,000 against 1,060,559.
Damn.
Doing.
Speaking of another Brave, leading the outfield is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Acuna, let's go.
Acuna with 2.2 million votes. With Mookie Betts, almost double of Mookie Betts.
Ooh.
Yep. Catcher, Sean Murphy of the Braves.
Nice.
Leading the All-Star Phase 1 voting right now. By 200,000 votes. And that's pretty much it. That's where your all-star ballot. That's where your all-star
Yeah,
ballot stuff lies.
you can't forget about the DH position.
Well, the DH
Travis
position.
d'Arnaud for another
it's
former Brave or another current Brave.
a lot of Braves leading this thing. I voted conspiracy.
Hey, what can I say? We're the best team in the NL East right now.
I still voted conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy, man. The Braves are going to win everything, and it's all staged. It's like professional wrestling. You have your evil tyrant Manfred. He's the Vince McMahon of Major League Baseball. Joey, am I wrong?
Maybe.
Shut up. Let me be right. No, I'm kidding. I'm just having a little fun. Let's go through the scores now, shall we?
Shall we?
Yes, right here. Top of the ninth right now. The Royals are leading the Tigers 1-0. Baltimore Orioles are leading the Tampa Bay Rays right now 7-3. Bottom of the sixth. Top of the seventh, the Braves are up against Philly 2-1. Toronto is up on Miami 2-0. The Cubs are up at the top of the seventh.
Now. Nice. Let's go, Atlanta.
The Cubs are up 2-0 against the Pirates in the top of the seventh. Cards are beating the Nationals 5-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Getting ready to start the top of the seventh. The Yankees are beating the Seattle team. It is 3-1. Cincinnati Reds are beating the Rockies 5-2. The A's, which we'll get into in a second, are beating the Cleveland Guardians 1-0. Red Sox are beating the Twins 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Knotted up at 0 right now is getting ready to start the bottom of the third. Is the Yankees the Mets and the Astros. White Sox are up 2-0 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Arizona is leading right now over Milwaukee 4-0. And then later tonight we got the Padres and the Giants playing off, and the Dodgers and the Angels. Some interstate rivalries going on later tonight. One game at 9:45 first pitch, and the other game at 10:07 first pitch, both Eastern time. So check your local listings for more information. Anything else you want to hit in baseball before we actually, yeah, we got to talk about the Oakland A's. And the Oakland A's, of course, that it seems like more now than ever that the Oakland A's are going to be shipped off to Vegas. Steven?
Sadly.
So, yes. So, as most of you guys probably already know, the Oakland A's are right now a proposed move away, pretty much set in stone. It's not in writing yet that it's for sure happening, but John Fisher and Dave Kaval, both the owner and team president respectively, are looking to sell Oakland to Las Vegas. And there is a outcry of anger, support, all of the above by MLB players and fans alike. And not only to add to this too as well, but last Tuesday on June 13th, there was over 30,000 Oakland A's fans that packed the Oakland Coliseum for one night. Oakland was stronger than ever. I mean, everybody from Mike and Gabriel and Boss and Hal. I mean, all of these guys that were on our show a few weeks ago going on an epic tirade about the corruption of Fisher and Kaval's, evil deeds. And just we on this show, along with every single A's fan out there, every single baseball fan, every single MLB player that puts on that uniform, we are in support for everybody that is going through this, because a Vegas native, Bryce Harper, who plays, as we all know, for the Philadelphia Phillies, came out and said that this is wrong. This is wrong by Fisher and Kaval to do what they are doing to the Oakland A's, as far as the fans and the city of Oakland that has been there for half a century. It's a travesty. It's downright disgusting that Fisher and Kaval obviously do not give two shits about the city of Oakland. It's a dumpster fire. Well, I wonder why the city of Oakland's baseball team and city and stadium is a disaster. It's because you did not care. You do not care about this team. You know, it's great that they got all these prospects and these young men that are coming up to the majors and playing, but 5-6 years ago, you had a winning team. They had over 90 wins in back-to-back seasons, but they lost in the dreaded wild card round. And just this move that, if this happens, this is just a lose-lose situation for Fisher, for Kaval, and for Vegas in general. Because, again, like we said on this show last week, Vegas does not need a baseball team. There is so much to do in Vegas. There's gambling. There's concerts. There's, hell, even when football is started, there's the Vegas Raiders. And then in the NHL, you just had your expansion team win the Stanley Cup Finals. This is just wrong on so many levels. And I hope that the MLB listens to the players and all of us, the fans, that this move to Vegas does not need to happen.
I agree with you 100%. It doesn't need to happen. It doesn't, but so unfortunately, it looks like that's the way it's going to go. But we wish but as far as to the Oakland A's fans, we want the best for you guys, and we come from different sports teams. We all come from different baseball teams. Like, I'm a White Sox fan. Joey's a Braves fan, but we see the problems and we see what Fisher is doing and how wrong it is for the organization and how wrong it is for the fan base and for the city of Oakland itself. And we wish we could do more to help out and change, but our buddy HiJacker, he's trying his best, and that's all we can do. That's all we can hope for, and we can only hope for the best and just pray that hopefully things will turn around. But if it comes down to it, man, it sucks for a lot of fans, especially our buddy HiJacker, who's a season ticket holder and has been one for God knows how long. And it shows that they're unfortunately that their their devotion to that team literally means nothing, and that they're tearing down an old hotel, a casino, to create a new baseball field in the middle in the area of Vegas, and they're abandoning the fans. They're abandoning the fan base that made them who they are the past 40-50 years, if not more. And it sucks. It sucks for them. It's that the same thing if the Cubs were to go to Vegas or go to Florida or something like that and abandon Chicago. It would be the exact same way if the Braves left and went to freaking Texas or went to New York or something, or wherever, Pennsylvania. It would be the same thing. It would be, and they had the same type of it's the same type of just shitty backstabbing management like John Fisher and company. And it's not fair to the city of Oakland. It's not fair to the fans. And unfortunately, this is a reality that it looks like they're going to have to live with, and that's that there's going to be no more Oakland Athletics and really no more teams in Oakland in general. So it's a death of a fan base and the death of a once prosperous town that was known for sports.
Yeah, because you guys have been fans, of your respective teams, and me and Kevin have been Niners fans, for years. And, our fair share of teams in our respective sports, have gone through their fair shares of ups and downs and struggles. But at the end of the day, we still support our teams, and I feel so bad for this, the fans in Oakland that have been with this team through all the good and the bad and the downright ugly, that this is how the owner and president is treating their fan base. They don't give a damn that over 26, 27, 30,000 Oakland A's fans last Tuesday packed that Coliseum, the most attendance they have had all year long. All year long. Nothing will top that. Because what happened last Tuesday, it was a movement. It was A's fans coming together, probably for the last time, to voice their displeasure, their anger, with shirts and signs and all of this stuff, directed to Fisher, directed to Kaval. This is wrong, full of greed, lies, and money. That's all John Fisher and Dave Kaval care about is money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate, and we do support the Oakland A's fans and the Oakland A's in the city of Oakland, and of course we'll say this: sell the team, Fisher out, and we will leave it at that. Unless Joey, do you have any more to say before we move on?
Yep. I just want to say one thing real quick. Fisher and Kaval, they are bad people. And I'm just putting that kindly but bluntly. They are the worst GM combo in the history of all sports altogether, and I hope they get what they deserve.
I agree. And anything else before we call it a day here on the good old sports show?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, have we? I saw this earlier on the ESPN app. How the NFL is really going to reinforce their gambling policy.
Oh, no, Joey, go ahead. Since you have the information, why don't you go ahead and lead into this?
Yeah, starting this upcoming season, this broke as of 4:10 earlier today. It said the NFL is redoubling its efforts to reinforce the league's gambling policy to players in the wake of a rash of recent violations. All rookies will now be required to attend mandatory education sessions, and a group of league officials are making in-person visits to team facilities to emphasize and clarify what activities are prohibited amid the rapid proliferation of sports gambling. And they have highlighted 6 key rules of the gambling policy that the league officials will emphasize. 1 through 6, they are, obviously, don't bet on the NFL, don't gamble at your team facility while traveling for a road game or staying at a team hotel. Rule number 3, don't have someone bet for you. Number 4, don't share team inside information. Number 5, don't enter a sports book during the NFL playing season. And last but not least, number 6, don't play daily fantasy football. So they're really going to start cracking down on this gambling policy because we've seen so many players get suspended because of this. So I'm glad they're finally doing something about it.
I was waiting on Kevin to say something. Come on, man.
Oh no, you forgot the 7th one too, Joey.
What's that?
Do not bet on the Dallas Cowboys because the NFL don't want to take your money and it's going to lead you down to a long life of depression and drinking alcohol. So don't do it.
I had a feeling he was going to say something regarding the Dallas Cowboys.
Aye. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, is our parting shot of the evening. And that is where we will end the show. Before we give everybody's final thoughts, we definitely want to say real quick to a couple of things. Definitely one more thing. Congratulations to Sean Payton because Sean Payton's daughter has just recently got married. So congratulations to Sean on gaining a new son-in-law and gaining some new family members. Congratulations to Sean Payton and his daughter on her getting married. So congratulations to that. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Nice.
Also, before we leave, we just want to say, this week, as I said at the beginning of the show, this week was a hell of a week. Steven, I don't think you've attended any shows this past week, have you?
I did not.
Okay. So I was just seeing if you attended a show or not, a concert or whatever. Of course, I attended AEW Collision. Great show, great overall atmosphere. Of course, Chicago being electric as all hell with CM Punk back, and just dealing a lot of great energy, atmosphere, great action in the ring. We got to see my first Ring of Honor taping since technically since 2014. It was cool to see guys like Gringo Loco, Captain Sean Dean, who are all Chicago based, and of course on the AEW show Sky Blue, who got a hero's welcome in the United Center. All these guys and gals who are from the Windy City, all getting to wrestle for the first time in a sold out United Center. And, just amazing, great performances by all, whether it was a Ring of Honor taping or whether it was live on Collision. Gringo Loco I could rave about all day, who I think is one of the best American-born luchadors on the planet. Sky Blue, who has come a long way since appearing on Mission Pro shows and doing indies and doing AAW and all that to becoming one of the most in-demand talents in the women's division. And then, of course, Captain Sean Dean, who's been like a backstage unsung hero in the AEW, helping out with some of the community outreach with Amanda Huber, and also, doing his teamwork in Ring of Honor with his buddy Carly Bravo, who's also a former military vet. So, just want to give shout outs to those guys and, guys and gal for what a great show it was this weekend. So, but that's about it for me. Let's close it out like we always do. And that is, of course, our final thoughts. And KR Kevin Rory, why don't you kick us off?
My final thoughts are glad to be back tonight. Great show, talking the NBA, MLB, the NHL playoffs, some NFL news, and just your daily reminder, everybody, before I close out. The Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately, will not be making the NFC Championship game again. And like Paul Heyman says, that is not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Very nice. Very nice, KR. All right. Joey, your final thoughts.
Once again, another great show with you guys. Amazing talk on the NBA draft, NBA trades in general, just everything that we're able to talk about. It was great having Mr. Kevin Rory back on the show. And I do want to point out, yes, I am back full time. However, I will not be on the show next week because I am going to Raleigh to attend a midweek concert. So I will not be on the show next Tuesday.
Who's the artist?
This may be this is gonna be a definite flashback from the past, but the show on Nickelodeon called Big Time Rush, they reunited, and yep, me and my wife are going to see them. It's always
let me
always
guess,
been a dream
more for
of
your
hers.
wife than it is you.
More so, yeah.
I kind of figured. With that.
Yeah. She's
Same
always
with people
been it's always been a dream of hers to attend an actual live concert. So that's where we're going to be next week. So I will not be here. But yeah, amazing time as always talking to you guys, and that's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of the sports, and if you're in the Carolinas, stay dry no matter where you are. Peace out.
Absolutely. Steven, you know how to do it, brother.
Excellent, fine show with you fine gentlemen here on the show. And shout outs to our boys in the chat, William and Randy Gyron, along with our guy Big T, everybody out there in the chat. And looking forward to another great week, of sports and, more news as they come in. And obviously tomorrow you're going to Dynamite in Chicago after a great AEW Collision at the United Center in Chicago on Saturday. And don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap this up, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us as always. It has been a great week of sports, and we'll have hopefully another great week of sports next week, as always. And don't forget, like I said, Nation's Corner this week. We'll have more updates coming up on that. Of course, I will be at Dynamite tomorrow night. With all the great talent from New Japan and AEW in attendance as we get ready to head to Forbidden Door this Sunday only on pay-per-view.
Hey, Ezra,
What's up?
real quick. Has anything been said about us moving the 4th of July episode to the following night?
I don't know yet. We will discuss that off air. We have not made that. We haven't discussed that on off air. So let's go ahead. We'll definitely discuss that when we get off the show today, and we'll figure out that plans. But we will. There will be a tentative reschedule for this week as 4th of July falls on a Tuesday. So we will be doing that. That show a different day that week. We will let you know. But until then, we hope to see you guys again. Thank you for joining us in the chat, watching this on demand, whatever. Thank you for your support. So with that being said, for our people in the chat, Big T, for Randy and William Guyron, for our guys here, for Kevin Rory, for Joey Thornton, and for Big Stevie Wyand, I am Mr. Vickery, and we will see you right here next week for another great edition of our Nation's Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you all next Tuesday. Peace out, and enjoy the sports.
Turn me up.